All right, so today we're diving into the world of Alexei Gavrilovich Venetsianov.
Venezianov.
Yeah, a Russian painter. And we're going to be using this cool video from the YouTube channel Languages&MuseumsILove. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, it's a great overview of his life and his art.
It is. And what I thought was so interesting was how he started as, a civil servant, like a bureaucrat, and ended up known for these incredible paintings of Russian peasant women as like these Madonnas.
Yeah, it is quite a journey.
It is. So let's kind of trace how he got from point A to point B here.
Well, it seems like his early life was pretty standard for someone of his time.
In what way?
Well, he was working as a civil servant in St. Petersburg,
Okay.
but he had this kind of passion for art,
Yeah.
and he would, in his free time, he'd go to the Hermitage Museum
Oh, wow.
and just study the paintings there, right? And he would try to copy them, to learn the techniques.
So this wasn't like formal training. This was him like teaching himself.
Exactly. He was like self-taught to a large extent, at least initially.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, and actually before he, made this big change in his life, he was already painting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was doing portraits of his friends, mostly aristocrats like himself.
Interesting.
And, what's interesting about those portraits is that they're often very informal, you know? Like you see these people in relaxed poses in their homes, and you really get a sense of their personalities and the atmosphere of that time.
It's like a window into their world.
Exactly. And he also did some caricatures, these funny drawings.
Oh, I love caricatures.
Yeah, and there's one that's particularly famous that shows a nobleman sleeping while visitors are, like, waiting for him,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so you can see he had a sense of humor, too.
Definitely. But then, so then around the age of 35, there's this big shift.
Yeah, huge turning point.
He quits his job, right?
He does. He quits his job, and this is where things get really interesting.
What happened?
Well, he marries this wealthy landowner,
Okay.
and he uses her money to buy villages in the Russian countryside, like between Moscow and St. Petersburg.
So he goes from like city life to country life, like 180.
Absolutely. It's a complete change of scenery and a complete change of lifestyle.
And that's when his art really like takes on a new focus, right?
Yeah, that's when he really starts to focus on peasant life.
So it's not just a change of address, it's like a change in his subject matter.
Exactly. It's like the countryside and the people who live there became his main inspiration.
And there's that one painting, Red Braid Peeling.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's from this period where you can really see that shift.
It's really like a signal of what's to come.
Totally. And it's incredible how many paintings he did.
I know, over 1,000, something like 11,123. You can believe it.
That's amazing.
It is. It really shows how dedicated he was to this new theme.
And, out of all those paintings, what he's really known for are these peasant Madonnas, right?
Yeah, that's what he's most famous for.
And I think what makes them so fascinating is how he takes like this traditional religious imagery, these depictions of Mary and Jesus.
Yeah.
And he applies that to regular, everyday peasant women and their children.
Exactly, and it creates this really interesting tension.
Yeah, it's like he's elevating the everyday, the ordinary.
He is. He's finding this kind of beauty and dignity in these people's lives that hadn't really been depicted in art before.
And it wasn't just like one or two paintings either.
No, he did a whole series of them.
All sorts of scenes.
Yeah, a peasant Madonna next to a boy who dropped his lime tree bark shoe, helping his father, or another one, a mother breastfeeding.
A boy and a girl with cornflowers, a girl with embroidery, a girl with a harmonica.
A tired peasant, a girl with a calf.
Girls in a field, even a Russian troika.
Peasant children.
A girl with milk.
A girl with a calf. A peasant woman with a child.
A girl with blueberries.
A sleeping shepherd boy.
And you can see the influence of Western painters in his work, too.
Oh, absolutely. The video presenter even points that out.
Right. But the subject matter, it's so distinctly Russian.
It is. It's this focus on rural life, on the peasantry, which was, not something that you saw a lot of in high art at the time.
Exactly. And it's just so interesting how he really captures like the essence of their lives,
Yeah, and it's not just that he's like painting them, it's how he's painting them.
What do you mean?
Well, there's this kind of reverence in the way he portrays them, like he's really respecting them and their way of life.
Yeah, and he's not romanticizing it either.
No, not at all. It's very realistic, but there's this beauty in the simplicity of it.
Right. Right, and his work it was clearly recognized as important because, well, there's a monument to him, right?
Yeah, for the 200th anniversary of his birth, they put up this monument in Vyshny Volochyok.
Mm.
That's the town where he owned those villages
Oh, okay.
and where he, lived and painted.
And what's the monument like?
Well, it's him, like he's working on a painting, another peasant Madonna, a mother breastfeeding her child.
That's really fitting.
Yeah, it really kind of sums up his life's work, this focus on peasant life, on motherhood, on this kind of quiet beauty.
And his paintings are in some pretty prominent museums now.
Oh yeah, they're in the Tretyakov Gallery in Moscow,
Wow.
the Russian Museum in St. Petersburg.
Big names.
Yeah, and even in a museum in Minsk, Belarus.
So he's not just like a Russian treasure, he's kind of like a regional treasure, you know?
Absolutely, his work has really transcended borders.
So I guess in a way what we've seen here is, this unexpected journey.
Yeah.
Alexei Gavrilovich Venetsianov starting out as a civil servant, then discovering this passion for art and ultimately becoming this celebrated painter.
Celebrated for his depictions of, rural life and particularly his iconic peasant Madonnas.
And it really is a reminder that, great art can come from anywhere, from anyone.
Yeah, and from unexpected places,
Mhm.
Like, who would have thought that a bureaucrat would end up being one of the most important painters of Russian peasant life?
Exactly. It's all about perspective, isn't it?
It is, and maybe that's something for our listeners to think about.
What do you mean?
Well, how a change in your own surroundings or even just a shift in your perspective could open up new creative possibilities for you,
Mhm.
What villages might you discover? What Madonnas might you encounter?
Or even create.
Or even create, exactly.
That's something to think about.
It is.
Awesome. Well, thanks for diving in with me today.
My pleasure.
This was fascinating.
It was.
All right, until next time.
See you then.